my head in frame? That's impossible to see from across the way. But we got this handy wireless microphone. Things have improved. Now, I've had this for some time, but hey, there's a video somewhere where you can watch something about that. But for this, episode 6, and what a time. Let me open this up. There's a little bit of foreshadowing there. Now, we've come a long way. We took this thing out on the highway and drove her much faster than we should have. Picture right here. Professional driver, closed course. You know the business. Of course, we got racetracks around here. So, that definitely did not happen on a public road. Now this thing still runs about as good as it did. There's still a lot of work to be done. Yes, we got it up to highway speed. And at full throttle, I think are getting full chooch out of her. But partial throttle, there's some drivability issues. It stutters hard under coast, essentially. Also bucks a bit. There's quite a bit to be done, honestly. So, let's get to those things, because I've got a list of things this needs. Hold on. Idle is sketchy. The brakes, although functional, sketchy. You heard them squeal. They still squeal. The exhaust is still making way too much of it. It's making its way up into the cab. See, it's not registered. Will it ever be? There's still mouse poop everywhere. Mismatched tires. Steering is more of a suggestion than a command. Although the bumps will give you quite a bit of steering one way or the other. Usually not the way you want to go. We need bumpers. We need something to keep the battery in one spot. What else do we got? We'll see how far we get. We're definitely going to mount some tires. That's right, mount tires on the usual suspects' best option for mounting tires, which is the worst option for mounting tires. Let's get to it. Alright, back on tire business. As you can see, some tire business needs to be done. And we also can't just be mismatched like that. How amateur. And how amateur is this? And I've been told they're mounted backwards. I got the back two backwards. Well, luckily this has not been driven on. It's just been sitting here and it lost air. But that doesn't look good at all. I never drove in this thing flat. Is that how they look? Look at that lip right there. And look at the other one. Well, you can see the rotation definitely is pointing that way. Maybe I just drive very fast in reverse. Maybe it just looks like that because it's just flat right now and not bulged out. But that's got to be fixed. Easy enough. I'll handle that. Although this rim is pretty chowdered up on the inside, but one thing at a time. These tires are no good and need to go. We recall from a previous episode that I could not get those tires on the front. They did not clear the strut. But an eBay special that's hopefully the right thing. 2-inch spacers, and 2 of them. These are not itchy bonds as we had before. Quite it, and they are so heavy. Oh yeah, there's a microwave there. Hey, there's a fractal thing somewhere. Point at that. Ooh, and I got a clock. The clock I have is still pointed towards the best time. Is these tires. By the way, they're different sizes. I've got 235, 45, 17s on it. The back, and these, focus, are 225, 45, 17s. So, 225, the width in millimeters, for those who don't know. I mean, you're really into these, you should know these things. The aspect ratio is the size of this compared to that. So this is about 45% wide, tall, and this is wide. This, we don't know what this is off of. And this is a Starfire tire. I've had them before. They're okay, especially for the price point. But the size, 225, 45, 17s. Let's do some tire work. Move some stuff around the welder. By the way, Harbor Freight, usual suspects. Tire changing machine is, well, I'm not sure if there's any better ones around, but junk. As you can see, we got a few things going on here with bracing, because this thing just moved all sorts of around. And it wasn't that it's anchored deep into the concrete, got pretty big screws in there, so those were not moving. It was the actual, when you move one way or another, you could see it bend right there. Same thing here. And then this piece, which is supposed to be angled down, was consistently getting flat and getting angled up, so it was unable to do tires. So that's why we got this piece right here. Generic angle iron is stronger than the thicker steel they ship with this. See, it's pretty well used. But let me get this set up. Can this thing do 17s, you ask? The answer is most likely no. But it's not going to stop us. There we go. Oh yes. Then we usually keep the bolt tight so it stays up, but appear to have loosened up a bit. These are coming off nicely. Look at that. And no, I have no care for this rim. I don't even know what bolt pattern this is. DC rims. I mean, this does have that little ledge right there to allegedly break it. Yeah. I don't know. Probably get in better if that was C-notched. Down you go. You lift your victim up on the top. So it comes with this guy here, which, like everything else in the kit, look at that, bent, soapy water. You're gonna need a lot of it. There we go. So then, use your body weight. Get some water on the inside of that, because it will tear the beads on the inside if you let her. Easy peasy. Lube it or you lose it. Oh yes. Woo! Things are looking up. That's life advice right there. That's future reference. Do not take your tires off the back of the rim. Now we know. Here's the bead. Oh man. Just trying to move her that way. Come on. Oh, what broke? Come on, Harbor Rot. Come so far to not come far enough. Wasn't expecting that. This is a solvable problem. Hold on. A solution. And I will say we've got to stop buying this Chinese junk. I say that as a guy who's currently here with Chinese junk. Yeah, inside, we got it mounted right. That is the inside. How have I done this before? I believe like this. That stretches her out. There we go. No, 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 no. Why would you do this? It's 100 degrees in here. It's late at night. Man! It costs like 20 bucks to get a tire mounted. On and off. Easy. 20 bucks. I'll even balance it. I've got a little bubble balancer here. It doesn't work worth a damn. Why would anyone do this? Why am I doing this? Alright, it's premature on that valve stem core. So, what we're going to do is we got to pop. And when you pop, wear protection. Because in a garage like this, it'll blow out your ears. You only got one set of ears. And you don't want to lose it for stupid Datsun. There you go. That one wasn't too bad. We all around? Yeah. Let me get that backside. Now we'll get our chuck and fill it properly, proper pressure. Here we have a mounted tire. What a time to be alive. Well, we gotta handle some stuff today, and yes, that's a microwave. Did I already do this clip? We gotta handle that. We gotta get front tires on. Are you driving? Are you driving, Lennox?
Take a pic of me.
Oh, let me move this microwave. Real quick on impacts.
What are you doing, Donnie?
Oh, I'm taking a tire off, doing a video. What are you doing? You want to come over here and say hi? There you go. Impacts. But look at this. Thanks to viewer Mark, old NiCad set. But look at that. We were several inches shorter.
Okay, Daddy.
Probably for the same torque.
That's it, Donnie.
Really? Alright. Has technology improved in the last 20 years? It has. Hub-centric, it says. If eBay's let me down again. Ooh. It's not what I call hub-centric. Bolt-centric. Are the bolts the right size, though? Time of the day that I can just ask for 4 bolts. Show up, ask for 4 bolts. Now, it says it's for 280Z, but that's M12 by 1.5, clearly labeled there, which works for these, perfect. But these, I need M12 by 1.25. And looking down in here, even though they're aluminum, this is like a alloy steel aluminum, I think. So it's not aluminum, not soft, so you don't need those weird flat washer nuts that go through, I hope. Get inside. Looks like a rolling wheel to me. Look at that. Redonkulous. Redonkulous. It's the hazard fraught wheel balancer. And, I don't know, focus. Can you make that? Come on. I don't know if you can even see that bubble. That's a little off. A little bit of weight here. Unfortunately, I don't have my box wheel weights. I'm not sure where they weigh. The sticky weights. See, there is a... Let me pull this off here. These things are hard to do one-handed. Oh, they're the wheel weights. Yeah, I don't have any sticky weights on me. I'll have to acquire some of them and get her back on there. But you're really at a point of, if you're using that, why bother? Enjoy the vibrations. It's part of the character of the vehicle. This is a problem for a different day. But this thing has an absurd amount of wheel space. Look at that. It could practically fit me into there. But if I look at this tire, I mean, some of this is certainly going to be that there's more tread. See, that's more than just tread width tire. There's probably a good 1.5 inches there. Which brings me to tires. These are the same size. 225, 45, 17. Once again, 225 is the tread width on the top. 45 is the percentage of tread width to sidewall height. So this should be 45% of this. And 17 is, of course, the rim size. If you look here, 225, 45, 17. The same. So we should be really close. That needs a lot of stuff. We're running a little wider in the back. These are better tires. These are 235s, I think. Yeah, 235, 45, 17s. But the definition of 25 and the top width, I'd have to measure it. But just looking at this, obviously, this is wider than this. Look back here. That might be hard to see on film. But certainly you can see these tires here. Yes, I need new tires coming up. 205 75s? Are they 75s? And 75 doesn't matter because I'm only talking width here. Yeah, 205 75 14s. 195. 195 70 14s. And that is taller, but shouldn't be. And if we get the front aspect here, the 195 is also wider. So, numbers don't mean what they say they mean. So if you have issues with tires and it's really close on fitment, it's worth checking out a different tire, I've found. That actually looks really good. But that gap will be solved. See if I can't figure out why that other one's leaking, or where it's leaking from. Pump her up and get some water on her. I'll show you that. And then we're going to swap them at the very least. Alright, let's get some air in this thing. The inside beam might be a different story. Well, I'm not sure I have a solution for this. Look at how chowder that is. Jeez. That's bad. I don't even think anybody will fix that. Same thing over here. We got hit there pretty good. I mean, I could just beat that in. That needs to be beaten out. Now back here, we got the good wheel spacers, but that's not going to work. But lucky for me, the really crappy, really thin spacers came with super long lugs. Hold on, M20. It says 1.25. Let's see. There's a better way. A worser way. Maybe. Lots of things were done. I mean, this is a learning thing. You can't even see that, it's so dark. It's gotten late. We only got 3 lug nuts on there, and this stud is just, fell all the way back in. So, I'm gonna need to buy new proper studs. The longer ones are slightly longer. I mean, I can get them in. Maybe I don't need studs. I'll just get them off, put the longer one in. One thing at a time, but look at that space. Well, welcome back. Now, this episode so far has been all about tires and wheels, wheel spacers, tire changing and all that, which is important, but not what I find most interesting. So, the most neglected thing on any motor, or any older motor, is the valve lash. And it's mostly because valve lash adjustments have been completely obsoleted. Every modern engine does not require a valve adjustment. Unless you get a new Mercedes diesel, for some reason, they're still in the 70s. Anywho, but this is no exception. I spoke earlier about the oil and how if your valves need adjusting, then your oil also needs to have zinc in it. And I'm going to show you why in a moment, because there is a wear surface in here. And it's a wear surface, which is why you need to adjust it. And I think the manual calls for every 10 or 15,000 miles in valve lash adjustment. Let's get to her. 10 mil. That is to take the valve cover off. I think you need a 17 and a 13. Honestly, I have done this once before. I might have forgotten a few valves and it's still tickety. And also my audio for that recording is terrible. And then you need your service manual. Oh, opens right to it. Valve specifications. L28. It calls for, oh, that's in inches. 8? It's an 8 thou. So, the tools do this aren't terribly expensive. I got this, it's a performance tool, so is that O'Reilly or is that AutoZone? I can't recall. But 0.008 inches. Where did they give you that in inches? Or is that millimeter? Inches? Are we looking at a range here? Or are we looking at calls for 0.008, 0008. And my gauge doesn't go that small. But I looked it up online, and maybe there's just some issues with conversion from millimeters, which this would have been published into this. Knowledge, Chiltons, have you let me down? I would say knowledge, but when something's obviously not right, it's obviously not right. So I looked online, it's 1/8 of an inch, which is the smallest one I got. When you're working on these things, of course, pull off your battery. You need a fender skirt. Protects your fenders, keeps things clean. Ideal tool. And we're just gonna go hand loose. So I'm actually gonna leave the bolts inside the valve cover. Now in the clip that you're not going to see, because I messed it all up, these bolts earlier were barely valve tight. So I've got some oil leakage going on down here. And that was probably our issue. But with this, it's usually advisable to replace the valve cover gasket. I am going to reuse mine. You can also do RTV, but that's sort of a pain. It's actually cheaper just to get the right gasket. This one I think is just a rubber or cork gasket. There's not a whole lot of pressure here, so yeah, we'll just reuse that gasket. Let's get in for that money shot. Oh yeah, look at them. And usually I'm raw dogging out here, but in this case, simply for my sanity, we're gonna glove up. Oh no! I was talking about reusing the valve cover gasket, but it looks like she just broke. Oh, broke in 2 spots. 3 spots. Well, we will not be reusing that. Shoot. I'm gonna set that up here. May have to reuse that temporarily. I'll order the right one. RTVing this big of a surface is gonna be a pain. Possible, but a pain. What's the board for? Well, we got to keep track of this. So this is my second time recording this thing, and every one of these were extremely loose. Like my largest feeler gauge went under every single one of them. So we're going to number these things. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to look at where our intakes and exhausts are. You can see starting in 6, we have exhaust, then intake, exhaust, intake. One moment here. Exhaust. And as you go through here and check all these, you would just X them off so you know it's done. And also, this is helpful in not getting mixed up between your intake and exhaust, because there is a different valve Lash spec on intake and exhaust. And we're going to ignore that valve spec because in my discount whatever kit, the smallest one I got is 8 thou. So I think it was about half the measurement for exhaust. So we're just going to run the whole thing to 8 thou. Sounds fun to me. So checking these. So if I look at number 4 here, I can see that our cam lobe is facing out. Now on these are going to move a little bit up. They're spring loaded down, and also there's this retaining clip. Let's see what we're at. Oh, might have adjusted them. Oh, no, I can get that feeler gauge in there barely. Like I said, these are ones I previously adjusted here. So that is to 8 thou. And so the way this works is a modern car, you have a valve tappet, which actually fills up with oil pressure and expands to take up the gap. So a modern car has 0 valve lash. Now, things that can go wrong if your valve lash is incorrect, especially, well, if it's too tight, your valves aren't going to terrible idling, terrible emissions, vacuum problems, a whole bunch of things. Similar to some problems we got right now. So we'll get this thing dialed in and see what happens here. So, but with this, let's see here. Any others pointing 180 off? That one is. Yeah, just barely. So, and the adjustments on these, pretty simple. Is that 17, 13? Let me see if I remember right. Yeah, 17. On this, there is a retaining nut on the bottom, which locks in your measurement. And then up here, 14, there is an adjustment screw. So you would crack this open and then adjust, tighten or loosen your nut, your adjustment nut, as applicable. So now I'm going to turn over the motor. We'll just flick it a bit, see if we can get these 180 off. A word. Pull off your coil wire to avoid that sort of thing. But it looks like number 6 intake is now, I want to say out of phase. It's electronics term, not this one. And if I pull up on this, you can see the huge lash we have there. And our gauge fits easily. Let's get to adjusting here. So we're going to, this one is loose. So same process, just in an easier get to area. So loosen your, and it's a little counterintuitive. Loosening this bolt goes R10 still fits. Let's keep on going. As I recall, these had a bit ways to go. 10 no longer fits. Yeah, that fits. So what I'm going to do, loosen that a little bit more. And out. Tighten. Okay. Check our 8. Fits. Check our 10. Does not. So that's 3. I'm doing this for humor. Gross. Wow. Sketch on idling, that's unrelated to this. It's been doing that for a bit. But solved itself. The ticketiness is gone. Start being there. You'll figure it out. Let's test our injector balance, and how we're going to do that is these injectors fire all at the same time. It's not continuous, it is a burst, but we unplug number 6. Should start to run a lot worse. Plug it back in. Correct itself. Same thing with number 5. To get cylinder balance, you would also do this on you would see the RPM drop, and you would cap off that intake or something. So one thing at a time though. Number 4 definitely struggles. Number 3. Not as much as the rest, but definitely still did. So we may want to look at number 3. We could have a balance or we could have an injector issue. Number 2. Definite struggles. 2 back in. And number 1. Really? All right, sped up a little bit. 1 out. One back in. All right, so suspect injectors / cylinders, number 1, number 3. I'll record my end scene with the thing running because I can. Well, thanks for watching episode 6 here. We got a lot of things coming and a lot still to do. We did tires, we did valve lash, and we checked injector and cylinder balance on this one. And we're gonna get back to that. Obviously there's some drivability concerns here, still, or creeping up. Quite a few things going on. So, stay tuned for episode 7. We're gonna work on a number of cosmetic things and then something on the motor as well. This thing needs a fancy front bumper. I guess this is what all the kids do, I don't understand it. It's a later, I don't know, R130. I don't know what bumper this thing is off of. It's a bumper cover for the front. We'll work up a mount for that. We need a rear bumper. We need a battery holder. Actually, some of the stuff's already been done, but we'll just make it in one convenient episode for you. Thanks for watching.